Hello everyone, it's Mrs. G. I'm so glad you've joined us here today to do arm knitting. You're going to notice some cute pictures of kitty cats as I'm talking because I want you to have a warm, relaxed feeling. These cats are relaxing on arm knit blankets, and today we're going to learn how to do a cushion made using the arm knit method. It's going to be fun, relaxing, and if you need to see the information again, just hit the rewind button. Please enjoy. Thank you for joining us. Today we're going to make this. Hi Stacy, how you doing? Yes, today we're going to make this, indeed. Okay, we're going to make a cool pillow. And I wanted to give you a little background because of course it's the library, so you have to learn a little something. So what I wanted to tell you a little bit about was, what is this whole arm knitting thing? Well, I want to introduce you to someone. This is Anna Mironenko. And Anna Mironenko, also known as Anna Mo, created something called the Ohio Blanket in early 2015. And basically, she started the whole chunky knitting. Oh, hi, Victoria. She started the whole chunky knitting movement. So it's because of her we can do what we're doing today, because she invented this wonderful blanket you see right there. And if you look at that blanket, you'll see that it is made from a very distinct kind of yarn. Not the kind of yarn we're going to be using today, but if you think to yourself, man, I missed out, I wasn't able to get the yarn like everybody else had. The point of us doing this is so that it can be a success, not a frustration. So I'm going to start by taking this apart, and you guys are going to get a chance to take this apart too. Let me adjust it a little bit. And also, I guess I should show you, make sure you have the following materials with you. A nice open space for you to do your work on. You want to make sure you have the cotton yarn with you. And you want to have a pair of scissors and willing hands. Have some willing hands. Okay. Now I'm taking this apart. Why am I showing you me taking it apart? To show you how easy it is to take it apart and how easy it is to put it together. So, once you start taking it apart, it gets easier and easier. I'm going to take it apart and spread my stuff all over the table. So as you can see, it does come apart. I'm getting messages from my coworkers. Pay no attention to the beeping in the back. All right, so it really does come apart. And you know what we're learning today, you can actually apply to anything that you decide to knit. So if you have like a long shawl or pashmina or scarf, you can actually use that really super long scarf or pashmina to make this. So while I'm doing this, make sure your yarn is poofy. If you guys watched the Fluffing the Yarn video that I posted on YouTube and Facebook, you will have seen that you need to make your yarn as poofy as possible. You want to make it poofy by doing this. So while I'm unraveling this, make your yarn as poofy as possible. That'll make your cushion super, super soft. And remember, stop me if you have any questions. Now, unlike your yarn, my yarn is pre-cut because I had to practice this, so it will look smooth and easy as we do this. Okay. Alrighty then. I'm now going to take apart this part. Now, as I'm taking it apart, I want you to pay attention to how tightly it's woven. Oops, it's falling off the table. You gotta have a big table for this. Big table, scissors, and arm knitting yarn. Those are your key ingredients. Notice how I'm pulling it out. Just pulling it out and putting it over there. Okay, so we begin with making the core of your pillow. Now, when you're making your pillow, you want to make sure as you're turning it into a circle here, you're going to make it into a donut, basically. We're going to turn this into the nicest looking little donut we possibly can. So, as you can see, I'm trying to fluff it and turn it at the same time. Yep, I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm going to fluff it and curl it. Now we're going to make 12 rings, okay? And this will be the point where we start counting. So this is now 2. And I bring it around here again. We get to 3. Make sure your hole's no bigger than my hand. Now you may say, how big is your hand? Well, that's why I have this handy dandy ruler. So, about 6 inches. You don't want this hole to be any bigger than 6 inches. Otherwise, you will find this to be incredibly frustrating. Okay, here we go. And my coworkers are continuing to beep at me. I'm wondering if I should turn that off. I really probably shouldn't. Even though I'm live with you guys, I'm still working. So here's a key thing you should know. As you're making these rings, make them as even and as tight as possible, okay? And as you're making these rings, when you get to the 4th ring, when you've completed 4 rings, ooh, getting a little loose there. When you've got 4 of these, you do not want loose rings. Trust me on that. You will regret it. You will deeply regret it. When you get to the 4th ring, then you're going to start going up a little bit. Now, when you get used to this, you're going to go a lot faster, but this is your first time making this. Take your time. Don't let it twist up. Slowly build it. Keep it tight. And you want to make sure you're overlapping. So I'm now going on top after those first 4 rings. And this right here is basically me looking at the yarn, me looking at the different stuff that's available out there, coming in to that, counting them up. Let's see, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing 6 now. So I'm putting the 6th one inside. And I said, okay, the instructions out there are good, but we can do better. Now, I'm going to tell you one more time as we're doing this. You will be making this at least 2 times during this tutorial. 2 times. So if you're looking at it going, why won't it do what I want? Relax. You're going to be okay. All right, going around. Make 12 rings. Now, unlike you guys, I don't have as much to worry about when it comes to rings because I've already cut my yarn. But in your case, carefully count and make sure you have 12 rings and nothing gets twisted. You're going to basically go up like 3 layers on the side and keeping it as tight as possible. This will be an awesome looking pillow. Tight as possible. Hello. I'm going to fill it in here. Keep it cushiony. Now, once you've done your 12 rings, I'm coming to the end of my rope. You notice how tight I'm making this. It may look small now, but this is actually going to turn out to be a relatively large cushion. By the way, I have to tell you, I'm super excited to do this with you. I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh my goodness. And you'll notice I'm just throwing the yarn. I'm just literally just throwing it like rope, just throwing the yarn. That's okay. Gets more air in there, gets more fluff. I am happy. And notice how I'm keeping it as tight as possible. Keeping it as tight as possible. Okay. The last thing I want to mention to you is notice where my end is and notice where I began. Right there. I want to make sure these are not like that on either end. I want to make sure this is a little bit of overlap here because when we start putting on the beautiful decor that goes around the outside of this, you have to make sure these are at different lengths. So make sure when you get to your 12th ring, it's tight enough that these two are not lined up. You do not want these on the same radius, okay? You do not want to have them lined up. You want to go a little over, okay? Once you've gotten it a little over, then you've hit your 12 rings, you've gotten a little over, then you can cut it. Take a deep breath, guys. This is important because this is the time when you cut. You're going to cut your yarn right there. Get a nice tight circle there. And once you have a nice tight donut, 12 rings, make sure they overlap before you cut. Once you have that overlap, take your donut, push to the side. Now, everybody got about a pound's worth of yarn. So now that you've cut your yarn, you're going to take the yarn that you've cut and we're going to make sure it's untangled. I'm going to just shift the camera up a little bit so you can see what untangled looks like. There we go. Just have it loose. And we're going to make a slip knot. Okay, so first of all, put your yarn in front of you like so. Short end, the rest of your yarn. I'm going to do this 3 times, okay? Not everybody knows how to do a slip knot, bear with, okay? So, the first thing we're going to do is reach and grab the longest part of our yarn. And we're going to put it over the short part of our yarn. Simple, easy peasy. Just do that. And you've made yourself a little fish. A fishy, fishy, fishy fish. Okay? Now, take your hand, put it through the hole. Take that same hand, grab the long yarn, pull it through the hole. You just made a slip knot. Make it as small as you can because you need every bit of yarn. Guys, I made sure everybody has like about a little over a pound of this yarn, but it's gonna be tight, and that's what we do want because a tight cushion is a cushion that stays. So make that slip knot as small as you can. Make it as small as you can and wrap it around your wrist. Okay? See how it looks? Okay. Let's do that one more time. Actually, 2 more times, because I promised you 3 slip knots. Okay. Starting with short end here, all the rest of your yarn up here. Just take your rope, yarn, tube yarn, lay it like that. Just grab it, pull it around like that. Okay? Grab the big long piece with all the yarn. See how that's the end that's short? Good. Pull it over. Make your little fish. See, you got a little fish. Fishy, 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 fishy. Okay? Little fish. Stick your hand through the hole. Grab the long yarn. Pull it through. Slide it onto your wrist. And just edge it up till you have made that slip knot as small as you dare. Small as you dare. Now, I practiced it so many times, so my yarn might look a little rougher than yours. That's okay. I wanted to make sure I got this right. So, we're making this as small as you dare. Did I make that slip knot right? I think I did. All right. Yeah, I did. Well, I promised you. One more time. Grab the long end, pull it over, stick your hand in the hole. Grab the long end, pull it through. Pull it tight, you've got a slip knot. Okay, you got your slip knot. Guess what? Grab your donut. Grab your donut. And turn it so that you can get to, I prefer this end, but you have to find one of your ends that you can grab onto. Because for this next motion, the same hand that has the cotton tube yarn wrapped around it is going to grab our donut, okay? And we're going to make sure that our yarn is outside, the rest of the yarn that's wrapped around this wrist is outside the donut, okay? Grab the donut. Now, we're going to do our first stitch. Are you excited? I'm excited. I am so, so pumped. Stick your hand through, pull the yarn through. Stick your hand through that little loop. You got 2 rings on your hand. Take that hand, grab the yarn, Pull it through the 2 hoops. Slide your hand through that loop. I'm going to do that again so you can see it again. Okay. You got a hand with a loop on it, right? Take the hand with no loop. Pull it through. Put a second loop on that hand. Okay. Now with the hand that has 2 loops, reach on over, grab the yarn, pull it through the hole so that you put it through both those 2 loops and slide your hand inside that 1 loop. Is that clear? Can you see what we're doing? Yep, we're making the pattern right there. Okay, let's try it again. Reach in. Now, some people say you have to get so many stitches per ring. I am wanting you to learn how to do the motion. So I want you to just practice this motion, and I want you to be aware of one thing. If you don't take anything else away from this, one thing you should know. This is going to look horrible the first time you do it. Relax. You didn't screw up. This is how the yarn flows. Don't worry about it. It's gonna look like a mess. It's okay. Relax. Again, 2 loops, reach, grab that yarn, pull it through, slide your hand right through. Keep turning it. And you can see we're starting to get those cute little rings there. And don't worry, we're gonna make some adjustments at the end to make it look super nice. But for now, we're just putting that second loop on that hand. You get it closer to the camera. When I got 2 loops on my hand, and I'm just throwing that rope out there, it's okay. Pull it through, slide your hand on. Okay. Put your thing in, slide your hand on. And just think, we wouldn't be able to do this without Anna Mo or Anna Marinenko. Sorry, lady, I did not mean to kill your name like that. She's got a really creative mind, and I'm so grateful that she was thinking to make something this cool. Pull the loop through, stick your hand through the loop. Once your hand's through the loop, grab some more yarn, pull it through, stick your hand in. Any questions? Ask your questions. It's okay to ask questions. Really, it is. Okay, go under the donut, grab the long rope. Oh, I have gotten too much tangle. I have to throw my yarn. Just throw it, throw it, throw it. Okay, I'll try that again. Hand under the donut, the hand with no yarn. The hand with yarn is there, see? The hand with no yarn is going under the donut to grab the rope. And it brings up a loop, slides it under your hand. By the way, this is gonna feel really nice because this is a very soft thing here. So, if you can, try not to get this too twisted. Try to keep your stitches neat, tight, and try not to get them twisted. Then, I'm just so used to doing it, sorry guys. Reach down, pull it through. I want you to really have a fun time. Okay, grab it through, hand goes in, and now I'm gonna go fast. You're like, what, fast? Okay. One thing I want to point out to you before I show you how to do this a little faster is, if you remember when we made that donut, I told you to watch out for that overlap. Make sure that if he tries to poke out, you just stick him underneath that. Oh, great, he's twisted. I'll fix him later. I can do this as many times as I want. I can make this cushion as many times as I want because this is a very flexible, very resilient yarn. I think I've made this, I would say 10 times. All right, so in case you forgot what we were doing, my hand's reaching under, sticking it on top of, sticking my other hand through, and this hand, gotta throw that yarn really far. Okay, pulls the yarn through, stick my hand in, through, in. Yeah, now I'm being fancy. Through, in. Yeah, now I'm gonna slow down again, because as you can see, we're getting kind of close. I'm pushing this apart because I want to have a lot of rings on here, and I still have a decent amount of yarn left. And I think the reason I have a decent amount of yarn, and you may not, is because I've done this a lot. If the more you do this, the better you get at it. It's one of those things you're like, wow, this is getting easier. Wow, this is looking better. Trust me, when I tried doing it this morning to refresh myself, I did not look like anything like this, okay? It looked way worse. Way worse. Oh my goodness. Okay, loop here. Pull the yarn through with your hand with the 2 loops. Slide your hand through. The hand with, oh, where to go? Yarn. Okay. The hand with no yarn reaches under the donut, pulls it up, gives you 2 loops for that hand. This hand reaches over and grabs the yarn. Now at this point, you're gonna probably be out of yarn. And if you have bought yarn from Ohio or somebody where you bought your yarn online, you might have more yarn. That's okay. Now, this is what's gonna really blow your mind, because this does not look perfect by any means. We're gonna make some adjustments to this. The instructions that I found online were literally make it look good. I'm like, what? Make it look good? How? Okay, but let's take a look at this end here. If you still have some yarn, we're gonna weave it in, but nobody's gonna have, if you got your yarn from me, that much yarn. If you bought your yarn online and you're gonna have a lot more yarn left, you can feel free to cut it at about the length of this cushion, the little donut here. You can wait till you get about that much. Well, that's accurate. Let me measure that out so you can get an idea. This ruler's coming in handy, my goodness. About 12 inches. About 12 inches. Yeah, I think that's accurate. 12 inches of yarn. And leave that alone. So we're gonna go back to our slip knot. We're gonna take it apart. Some of you are going to say, what now? We're gonna take it apart because we're gonna try to make an invisible knot. Take it apart using this end here. Remember that guy here, that last piece of yarn we just pulled through? I'm gonna try to pull him through there. What we're trying to do is create a seamless, see how that can look? Oh boy, let me get that under the camera. Make that look as seamless as possible. So we're gonna do something with that, okay? So let me review. Take out your slip knot so that you just have that yarn there, and then you're gonna weave it back through your last one. Try to make it look as good as possible. Now at this point, your goal is to make this look as good as possible. By hook or by crook. You're gonna be tucking, you're gonna be pulling, you're gonna be pushing. You're gonna make this look as good as you possibly can. But let me show you what you can do with these 2 ends here to help you along with that. You wanna interweave these back into the creation that you've made. Now you notice that we had some gaps here. Well, we can take care of those gaps with this guy. So we're gonna just weave him back in here. I'm gonna actually go the other direction because he came on that side. Okay, yeah, he came on that side. You might have to do a little thinking, folks. You finish that particular knot there. Let me think. Where can I put him in? I'll put him in over here. Now, each of you guys might be doing something slightly different. If it doesn't look right, like, nope, that doesn't look right. Let me try that again. I'm going to tuck him in, and I'm going to put him all the way through this cushion, and then pull him back through. Ooh, fancy. The idea is that you want to make this look as seamless as possible. So, by hook or by crook, make it look as good as possible, folks. Okay, making sure I finish that knot, make it look as seamless as possible. Seamless as possible. And you know what? Because we're doing this more than one time, remember, you don't have to get it perfectly this first time. You have options, people. You have options. Now, let's say you got everything all tucked in and you're like, oh no, that looks awful. Tuck it in some more. No shame in your game, okay, folks? Now, we're going to take these apart as much as possible. Keep them as straight as we can, because the straighter they are, the better they look. I'm going to get them looking as much like a croulier as possible. Those of you who like Dunkin' Donuts or donuts of any kind that are crouliers, you know how delicious those are and how they have lovely ridges. Call this your croulier pillow, you know? So move these around as you see fit. Make them as straight as you possibly can. Again, this is the adjustment stage. Something pops out, you stick it right back in there. Okay? No problem. Oh no, there's a gap. Cover it up. So pull stuff over. Again, don't get upset if it's not perfect because number one, it's your cushion. You're not selling it. It's not like if you make a mistake, it's gonna cost you your job. No. This is fun. This is relaxing. This is you making a cushion for yourself. Now, if your cushion looks like this, awesome. One suggestion that people give is you can do this to the cushion to bring the braid up a little bit. If you want to do that, I'm sorry, my hand wasn't in the image there, sorry. Just push up the edges there. But I strongly suggest that you tell yourself how awesome it looks. Well, guess what? That's it. You've got a cushion. You've got a cushion. You made a cushion. Yeah. And if it doesn't look right, guess what you can do? You can do this whole thing again. Yes, you can. Rewind this video. Watch it again. Go online. Watch Ohio's videos. See all the different things. This is my interpretation of that, but this is just with the 1 pound fabric from Amazon. That's where I bought this stuff from. Making the adjustments as needed. I've hit that happy little place where it's fine, you know. And I'm going to tell you something I never told anybody. I've always wanted a pillow like this. Always wanted a pillow like this. And I never was able to get a round pillow as a youngster. So this is a fruition of all my dreams to make a round pillow with you, my new friends here in Wisconsin Rapids. So I'm just making little adjustments. And like I showed you before, you can fluff up the sides like so to make the braid more prominent. I'm just sliding my hand up the side like this to make the braid more prominent. You can carry it on your arm. You can put it on your book bag and tie to the strap. It's really good for like your head, like so. It's really good for your back, like so. It's really just comfortable. It's just a really great pillow. And as you can see, it's not the most obvious thing, but you can also, it's decorative. It's very decorative of a pillow. So you can just put it in your chair and it's really awesome. And it's so mobile. And if you don't like it, if it gets out of shape, something goes wrong, all you have to do, redo it. You have the capacity, you have the ability. You can make your own pillows. And as you can see, mine isn't perfect. I made an imperfect pillow. You know what? Every time I do it, it gets better. And I'm going to tell you guys this. Take your time. So hopefully you guys all have a cool looking pillow right now in front of you. Something that you can use. And quite frankly, I'm not going to lie to you. You can give yourself a crown. You can give yourself the pillow crown. Yeah, it works for me. Well, thank you for watching Virtual Knitting with Mrs. G. We hope you will like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And I hope your knitting project turned out as great as Eden's. She even had a little extra, and there you go, she made a knot pillow. Thank you so much for visiting us, and have a great day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.